Yo, Derek Balotelli, out here in France, Camp Bear, Q-Town, keep it true now. And yeah, I wrote a good amount for this last mix I did, Courage Under Fire, and I thought I'd just read to you guys what I got. Some of it's already in the description of the video I made, but yeah, gonna do it just live and direct and maybe elaborate, and that'll be great. So, stemming off from my last mixes, now that you got your power and the righteousness, let's take to the battlefield of this war on consciousness. Always remember that in the totality of creation, all is one, that all came from a singularity, life force, source, or God, creator, whatever you want to call it. Unfortunately, we are very far from that reality dimension connection, since we're in a world usurped by malevolence that has been attempting for eons to pervert, invert, and undermine creation and the cosmic laws that govern it all, and the unfoldment of all that has polarized people in an artificial, dualistic reality, locking consciousness into a very limited level, to the point that humanity enslaves itself, consciously, unconsciously, subconsciously, doesn't matter. We're in a state of fucking slavery. Today we keep hearing about the powers that wish they be on the 3D level, and how the Illuminati, the elites, the oligarchs, government, kings and queens, the occult priest class, the unroyal bloodlines, hidden hands, military-industrial complex, and the pharmakia mafia, black magic pharmaceutical shit, the deep state, and all other entities and monikers that participate and perpetuate the systems of mind control, perception manipulation, domination, and control. Here's the thing, everybody. Yes, they are the enemies, but if we're being honest with ourselves, the sleeping masses that acquiesce, support, vote, participate, follow orders, and ultimately hold up and enforce the control systems, they are also the enemy. That doesn't mean be polarized against everything and everybody. Just know the difference and act accordingly. Also, if you haven't embodied the first cosmic law principle, that all is mind, it depends on your state of mind, then there's still probably the enemy within yourself that has not been conquered. That involves more than just mastering ego and doing shadow work, We have to master our mind. There is a hierarchy system, like a pyramid scheme of knowledge, chain of command, authority, power, influence, wealth, that sustains a very, very few to stay afloat at the top and in control. The capstone cabal, if you will. They can be seen as the frontmen of distracting people aware to not focus on striking at the roots of evil, which is ignorance and mind control. Where's the power in numbers and power of the people if we're so divided, so fragmented, disoriented, polarized, traumatized, hypnotized, living lies, calcified, immoral, closed-minded, close-hearted? Even in the truth community, there isn't much unity, and uniting under some unverifiable source like Anon or the Q, or whatever the fuck, it's a contrived form of such unity. We need courage to shed the fear of what others think of us and say about us when it comes to speaking the truth and calling folks out on the bullshit that affects others negatively. The courage to face anyone, including your closest kin and friends, in speaking and informing them about objective morality and objective truths. If 8 billion people on the earth are breaking natural law, what percentage do you think the capstone cabal accumulates to? We need the courage, void of naivety, that certain moments could lead to physical confrontation. Are you bearing the armor of righteousness, imbued with natural law principles and morality? That you understand the universe has your back and you won't suffer much karmic debt just for simply upholding, defending truth, and especially yourself in self-defense manners. We need to respect the non-aggression principle, of course, sacred feminine, in a righteous manner. Not virtue signaling some shit the media manufactured program people to squawk about. And calling the police to solve your problems isn't a responsible choice, especially when it's something trivial or easy to solve, confront between the parties involved. Police usually make things worse, and you have to go through the legalese bullshit, you know? Especially during these draconian times where neighbors are selling out and snitching on each other for breaking these draconian measures of the distancing and staying at home lockdown bullshit, you know? Or not wearing a fucking mask, you retarded? These are in complete violation of everyone's basic universal rights. They would be the same ones who'd call the Nazis on the common folk during the early 20th century World War period. They are the enemy, and they need to be reasoned with, if that's even possible for them at that point. They made their decision. They sided with their side. And they might even see you as the enemy as well. Where to find the common ground on that level, you know? How do we make them see what kind of evil they pledged their allegiance to? That's the great work. How do we get them to quit their cult? What's the interpretation of courage under fire? Over here? It's about being tested and prevailing, standing on principles, shining a light in the pits of darkness, fearless. Even if everyone is against you, when you know you are in the right or aligned to objective truth or objective morality. Do not fold under pressure, but rather be that transmuted diamond crystal from which the coal under pressure resulted in. Have you asked yourself and objectively observed who's given you the most resistance in your life? Directly, in regards to speaking your mind, speaking up and out about the atrocities of the system and the state of moral decay we're living in. Is the government trolling you? Are they the ones talking shit on the internet to you, man? How have the ones you criticize publicly directly responded to you? Have they even responded to you, you know? Or was it more to the effect that your average person or people you know, including family members, were the ones trying to refute what you said and try to debunk you, you know? They are the ones holding up the lies, deception, and the cancerous corrupt systems. What about the house of cards analogy, eh? It's a big stack of shitty fucking cards, and we need more than people's channeled breath to blow it down. But there's a buffer zone, if you will, of other average people blowing against our winds of change, freedom, and justice. They don't trust us. They have taken on cult-like behaviors and Stockholm syndromes where they will defend, even to the death, their own enslavers. This is one of the biggest dilemmas and divides. Statists versus anarchists. The true meaning of the word, anarchy, which equals freedom, not chaos. No masters, no slaves. Although one has to be the master of their own individual self, to be a sovereign individual, right? Embody that. This is the new earth society of human beings we need. People who are courageous, fearless, and responsible. We have to live in harmony. We have to heal our ego issues, hold ourselves accountable, and then others as well, if they're not in alignment with morality and natural law, which leads to harming others. And they do not have the right to do so. And a peaceful society or world would not be able to exist if people continue to break natural law and moral principles. We need courage to walk this straight and narrow path, knowing that there will be times when we feel abandoned, shunned, ostracized, alone, weak, in doubt, and then some. Where's your garment of righteousness? Did you borrow one from somewhere or someone else? Or did you sew it yourself with the golden threads of truth, cosmic consciousness, objective morality, and the immutable laws of the universe? What drives you to stay persistent? Love for truth, self, and others? The profound care you have for creation and wanting to be and see the positive changes we need on this planet? The moral obligation to defend rights in a world of deception? Knowing that our lack of right action in these increasingly draconian times will lead to a worse consequence than some uncomfortable confrontation that we're fearing, if we want to speak out, Or is it driven by fear, when you get that feeling in your gut, like your insides are twisting and constricting, that burning in your throat full of conviction, but you can't really speak, right? I've had this before, yeah. It's like that internal conflict, What's helped me is, doing that inner work, realizing what triggers those emotions, those uneasy feelings, the butterflies in the stomach, whatever, Shadow work, alignment to immutable principles, morals, truth, and natural law. We need the right grammar, logic, and rhetoric to be effective in speaking and defending the truth and advocating freedom and justice, defending it against all the lies, arguments, and logical fallacies. This is key in dismantling the lack or logic in people's arguments and disputes that we get confronted with, right? Unfortunately, there are plenty of people completely encrusted in base level consciousness and ego who will not admit being wrong or corrected, nor even recognize that their rationale could be erroneous. That's a big blow to the ego, shit. In regarding the three expressions of unity, trinity consciousness, thoughts, emotions, and actions, represented by the mind, the heart, and the guts, respectively, corresponding to the crown, heart, and solar plexus chakras. And if we're tying in my last music projects, the ones that correspond to those within the past year is number 1 for the mind, control, confusion, and corruption of thought. Thoth. It gets very esoteric, and it's very important to really understand what that's really all about. And go through the links I provided as well for that. Number 2, the heart, right? Genesis. Awakening the sacred lost principle of care. That care drives our actions of wanting to do good, right? At least the right type of care, not the dark care that these psychopaths have. And now, the number 3, solar plexus, you got to flex this, courage. It's going to be under fire regardless, We have to stand within our own fire, the blue flame, ignited, soul sparked, and not be afraid to come out and speak. Don't be afraid of yourself, Don't be afraid of the unknown. But yeah. Voila, that's all. Hope you liked it. Take care out there.
Hope that was alright. Sorry, the recording quality was shite. I gotta do better than that. Y'all deserve better. So yeah, my bad. Yeah, so. These things are, just like so much other stuff, it's a lot easier said than done, right? But, yeah. It does take courage to get out of your comfort zone, to confront people on things that, they don't, that they don't want to hear it, right? But, yeah. We can't just overthink these things and, let that diminish our motivation to get, do the things that we're building up to do, Sometimes it's like now or never, right? Yeah. Yeah, out here in France, they have a beautiful saying. I hear it a lot, just, instead of like, oh, goodbye, or good luck, or break a leg, or all that shit, they say, bon courage, 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 bon courage, just good courage, I guess, it's, things like that, those expressions, that they're not really easily, or, verbally, well sounding in the Anglophone translation. Hey man, have a good day at work. good courage, just, no, but you say it in French, like, allez mec, bon travail, bon courage. That sounds beautiful, right? But yeah. C'est la vie, les amis. Yeah. It's not the Frenchified lifestyle, man. It's just incorporating dual language and yeah, having fun with it, using it for my advantage, and helping to teach others as well, right? So yeah, that takes courage to just actually, And there's so many people that I've talked to in France, French people, and they're amongst their friends, and they want to speak English because they see me, and like they don't get the opportunity to speak to an American sometimes, and like, oh, I'm too shy, or I don't want people to make fun of me, Yeah. Everyone has their levels of mental blockages, We gotta be able to cut through this shit, Yeah. Bon courage to y'all, and Peace.